I'm a bulldog. So Georgia, who I'm picking. I love the family atmosphere and the way they handle business. Education is important, trying to reach the next level. I want the best in life, I never settle. I'm a bulldog. So Georgia, who I'm picking. I love the family atmosphere.
All right, guys, you listen to the line of that song, Georgia's Who I'm Picking. Well, Georgia had somebody pick one today. Georgia had Zayden Walker pick the Dogs today. And so I know traditionally in the recruiting sphere, we talk about things called commitment watch. So I guess, is this the commitment boom? Is this the commitment landing? The nation's number 2 linebacker, number 1 linebacker for other services. What does that mean? That means Zayden Walker is really stinking good out of Sly County. In Ellaville, Georgia, Georgia continues its run. I tweeted this out on social media this afternoon that makes 6 linebackers that will be on the 2025 team that were ranked among the nation's top 6 linebackers in 2023, 2024, and 2025. That is 6 top 6 linebackers, including now, with the addition of Zayden Walker to the class, 4 5-star linebackers in Glenn Schumann's room. That is a good way to get things going tonight on DawgNation's Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger. Now, guys, we are going to have some fun tonight because, like the title of the show, obviously you're reading, you're watching, you're streaming. I don't think that's going to be the only good news that comes out of the official visit weekend this past weekend. I think Georgia's going to have some great decisions to make. Will that wide receiver room fill up quickly? Will Georgia have to make some tough decisions at some other spots? What about the offensive lineman? The Zayden Walker decision, it shows, how do you know you have a successful official visit weekend? Well, when you get kind of one of those reactionary 5-star commitment. Reactionary commitments are great, but when you have a reactionary 5-star commitment, everybody remembers that scene in Iron Man where I think Robert Downey Jr., the Iron Man character, Tony Stark, goes like this, and then I think Tomahawk missiles or Hellfire missiles or whatever they were called, they kind of pepper the landscape in the background. Well, that was kind of like what this weekend was for Georgia, and like the first boom touchdown this afternoon with the commitment of Zayden Walker. Now, there's a couple things I want you guys to know about the Zayden Walker commitment. First of all, rated really highly, 5-star, everything like that. Comes from a down south Georgia boy background. That's always good, but really intriguing backstory here. First of all, Zayden Walker has former, probably about 4 or 5 cycles ago. Does anybody else remember the name Zacchaeus Walker? Zacchaeus was a player that also came out of Sly County, and then he chose Auburn after Georgia was really much in the race, Sly County, and he chose Auburn. And then he had, in the last cycle, Jalewis Solomon, his brother, chose South Carolina. So the intriguing part is not only is it the first 5-star commitment now for the defense, not only does that make 2 5-stars for Georgia, not only is it the 10th commitment, not only does it move Georgia up the recruiting rankings, but you get a guy that, given those kind of family backgrounds, decides to shut it down early because he was going to, before this week, his decision this week and even the decision he made this weekend, he was going to see this out, see at least a couple more visits, check out Miami, check out South Carolina. And this is another huge win for Glenn Schumann, who has all he does is win right now. That's all you can say about that on the recruiting trail. The batting average is quite high. But Zayden is a prospect that, I guess from the first time I started covering him 2 years ago, I was like, this guy walks like a dog, sounds like a dog, acts like a dog, thinks like a dog, plays like a dog. He's probably going to be a dog. Now, he's playing a lot of off-ball linebacker right now. He's plays for a tiny single-A school, so he gets the chance to run the ball a lot. I think he had double-digit touchdowns a year ago. He rushes the passer a lot, kind of in that Jalen Walker mode, that Quay Walker mode a little bit. Just a big frame. And I think early on, the biggest adjustment is he doesn't have a lot of experience down after down in high school football playing in the box, and that's what they're going to ask him to do at Georgia. I remember seeing him several times, and he just had that look on his face in Sanford Stadium. I remember him sitting behind Dylan Raiola last year. I remember him just kind of looking into Sanford every time he was at Georgia. He mentioned Kirby. He mentioned the relationship with Schumann. And already like a year ago, you kind of got the feeling that the Dogs were going to be the alpha contender there for Zayden Walker, and Georgia adds another centerpiece, linchpin piece of the class in Zayden Walker. Really interesting. I want to get you guys involved, to bring you guys in on a discussion we had on our DawgNation reaction show with Brandon Adams and Connor Riley. And you look at Georgia's linebacker recruiting. It's as good as it gets. You look at tight end recruiting, good as it gets. You look at what they've done now, offensive tackle position, the development at offensive tackle. What Georgia has done there is as good as it gets in college football. Remember the days when you used to say that Georgia was RBU and they got their pick of the litter in terms of the top prospects in the country? Well, I think that's evolved a little bit, where Georgia still doing extremely good at the running back spot, but you probably can throw safety in that position as well. Like, here's the question for you guys. What position do you think that the University of Georgia now recruits better than any other across the board? And I think you're going to get some interesting responses in the comment section. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody hanging in tonight. Hello, DawgNation homepage. But I think you're going to get some interesting conversations there about, is it tight end because of Bowers and the development and what they've continued to stack even into the 2025 class. My good buddy Brandon basically made the opinion that sure would like to see defensive line hop into that conversation a lot. So that's going to happen, my friends. I think you're going to see Georgia have a really stellar defensive line class in the 2025 cycle. It seems the seeds are planted there as well. But Zayden Walker, wanted to give you guys a little bit of thoughts on Zayden Walker from Sly County in Ellaville, Georgia, the newest Georgia Bulldog commitment. And that gives us a good way here to kind of jump into kind of what I kind of going to put together as a really good look at the official visitors this past weekend. So you've got a lot of guys to talk about. Justice Terry, for instance, another great visit. He was hosted by Michael Williams. That was great right there. You see Travis Smith there in one of those pictures. He's going to be a DawgNation conversation coming up in this show, along with Juan Gaston. Juan Gaston Jr. We're going to preview this weekend's official visitors as well. You see right there. Here's a name I want to throw out at you. That's Lagonza Hayward right there out of Toombs County. And this is a guy like 2-3 weeks ago, wasn't really sure where he fit on Georgia's board. Tennessee was a major contender. And now Lagonza tells me that Georgia has put their foot on the gas. Georgia has locked down. T-Rob Travaris Robinson has convinced him that, hey, he's going to recruit you 110 miles an hour, and he's feeling it. Lagonza went to Georgia this past weekend. He hung out with K.J. Bolden and DeMello Jones, kind of felt kindred spirits there. Georgia has fits his three-pronged process in terms of what he's looking for. One, how does he fit in the defense? Two, can he be developed there? And then three, would he just want to hang out there and live there if with the fit inside that collegiate ecosystem? And Lagonza has vaulted Georgia way up into the stratosphere of his kind of thoughts right there with the Dogs. He's going to now make his decision on August the 7th. He told me, I believe last night he told me this. He is going to do it, not for really any special reason, but because it is his first day of school and he wants to get it out of the way. He's got some other official visits to take, but he's always had a great relationship with T-Rob. T-Rob offered him when he was at Bama, but T-Rob told him that he needed to see him. He needed to see him, how smart he was. And he went to the spring game and he saw him call fronts, line up linebackers. He saw him play all over the field, offense, defense. He saw how demonstrative he was. And that really kind of sold Travaris Robinson in Georgia on Lagonza Hayward Jr. So down south Georgia boy, top 100 overall prospect. That was a guy that I thought was one of the more intriguing out of the official visitors over the weekend. I thought Lagonza Hayward was really impressive. Taylon Taylor right there, that's a guy you can clearly get the feeling that Georgia wants him. His dad was a former standout at Iowa. His mom was a Hall of Fame softball player at the collegiate level at her university. You see right there, that's Darren and Kennebong. You see right there, that's Elias Williams. Those are some of the shots that we were putting together from the official visit weekend. You've seen a lot. Kevin Wynn out of Greene County, that's a guy that I think had an impressive official visit, kind of going down the line. One of the things that, pulling together all this information about the official visit weekend that Georgia just held was there was a quote here from the father of Ryan Montgomery. And good context here, their older son, is now vying for a starting position at right guard at Ohio State. He was an All-American. So he's been witness to seeing two of the alpha programs in college football. If you ask me, you can get in a fun little bar room, fun little golf course, fun little water cooler debate about who are the top programs in college football right now. And I think a lot of people that would say Georgia and Ohio State would probably get the answer right, considering I'm sure you'd have some people still say Bama, warranted, probably even include Michigan in that discussion. But the Montgomery family has now seen Georgia at its best on an official visit weekend, and they've seen Ohio State at its best. And Ryan's father, Mike, told me both are excellent. Both are standard bearers. They're just a little bit different. He said they have more similarities than differences. But one big takeaway from Georgia is he told me, you realize why they're so successful. It's because they have elite people at everything. They have elite people behind the scenes. They have elite people coaching, recruiting. They have elite people hosting. It is just the Georgia brand. The word elite kept popping up. Ryan felt like he was very much a part of the team. Ryan's going to be the type of guy that visits Georgia a couple times. I'd look for him to come back for the July cookout at the end of July. I'd look for him to maybe come to Athens and camp, so we would get a chance to camp for Mike Bobo as well. But that kind of thought right there where, official visits are going to go great. Georgia's going to win, but he noticed that there were just elite people all up and down the program. Ryan Puglisi hosted Ryan Montgomery. That's kind of funny. Those two guys are very much alike in my mind's eye. But those two guys were kind of hanging around. Ryan Montgomery was bending the ear of Ryan Puglisi a lot. And little things that come out of that official visit weekend, really interesting stories. The guys were playing charades before the photo shoot. The guys were then went into photo shoot. And guys, I got to break this one off right here. So the thing about this official visit weekend is, I don't know how well you guys know this, but the NCAA passed a measure at the relief of college recruiting departments everywhere that the photo shoots now can only happen on official visits. So what Georgia did, I think they've done as well as anyone in the country so far, is they've built a couple of sets. One of them looks like it's a G5, a G6. They've also created, when you try on the gear, you basically come through a red carpet, through a tunnel, and you've got not only flash bulbs, but you've got a minor replication of Georgia's light-up Sanford Krypton fanfare moment where everybody's waving their cell phone lights. Sunglasses are encouraged. It just feels like Georgia really hit the sweet spot of something that photo shoots can no longer be as special or as prevalent as they used to be. Well, Georgia just dialed it up a notch. And I think from what I've heard from recruits and everyone else, that Georgia really, really did an excellent job there with their new elevated photo shoot on the official visit that made something that was a big part of the recruiting timeline for recruits everywhere, made it feel very special again and relevant and different and new. Because it used to be back in the days where if you're on an unofficial visit, you say, hey, can I get a photo shoot? And it would almost be like unofficial visitors for the first time are getting photo shoots. And you see now Georgia has kind of staged it where we're only going to do it once, only going to do it on your official visit, but it's going to be pretty sporty and everything else like that. A lot of stuff coming out of the official visit weekend. Of course, Darren and Kennebong, some good news there for the Dogs is he decided to shut down his recruiting after his official visit to Georgia. That means he won't check out Ohio State. He's done with his recruiting. Of course, the Zayden Walker commitment there. I think Talon Taylor was a wide receiver that Georgia really helped itself with a lot. And that's a race that's coming down to Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Georgia at the wide receiver position. Travis Smith, you're going to hear from him. Juan Gaston Jr., you're going to hear from him just in a second as well. So I think all of those official visits, if you got guys got a comment, you want to learn about somebody specifically from the official visits, I'll do my best to kind of update you guys with what I've learned, what I'm thinking with a lot of those guys. I think Nick Brook and Mike Carroll, two of those guys that the offensive line targets for Stacey Searles, both had splendid visits. I think when you look at both of those guys, Juan Gaston, as you'll see in the piece here coming up in a minute, Juan Gaston Jr., he told me that it's very rare that you can go hang around with other linemen or other football prospects on a visit and see somebody that you can look square in the face, and that was Nick Brooks out of Iowa. Ryan Montgomery told me he just felt stronger kind of hanging around those guys, felt very safe, very protected and comfortable in the pocket with those three amazing offensive line talents right there that Georgia's heavily recruiting for the 2025 class. Zayden Walker was number one. That kind of OV quick wrap run through was number two. We're rolling on in our big five right here on DawgNation. But before we do, I need you guys to hunker down. It is the final countdown. If you want to be a part of our DawgNation invasion, I believe the man Brandon Adams said on his show this morning, you got until 11:59 tonight to get to DawgNation.com to enter. You get to go on the Friday night pregame party. You get to hang out with DawgNation. You get tickets to the DawgNation Invasion tailgate. I'm sure that package has spurred a lot of you guys to jump in, but you got just until 11:59 tonight to get in there, to hunker down and try to be a part of DawgNation Invasion. Austin, Texas, thanks to Atlanta Sports Trips, our friends there at Atlanta Sports Trips. If you want to know a little bit more about it, if I need to work on my pitch game, that's what this is for right now. Here's a little quick info burst right now on the DawgNation Invasion promotion.
It's the biggest DawgNation road trip of the year, and you can be there with us. Georgia versus Texas in Austin, and we've got your seats. Enter now to win this VIP package from Atlanta Sports Trips. 2 tickets to the historic game, 2 nights hotel in Austin, passes to the DawgNation Friday night party with the UGA legend, and join us for our all-inclusive tailgate on game day. Go to DawgNation.com/tailgate for more details. That's DawgNation.com/tailgate. Contest ends June 5th, so enter now and join us for the DawgNation Invasion in Austin.
Look at that, Cody Chaffins, man, our producer extraordinaire, now going for he's a promoter, ringmaster, carnival barker, whatever you want to say. And everybody says everything's bigger and better in Texas, and I thought that promo was, you see all those deuces on that thing? You get 2 nights, you get 2 tickets to the game, you get 2 passes, you get like 2s are crazy right there for that weekend. And, you know, I think one thing I can do to add to that is I want you to take a look at, this is something that I think we have our kind of greatest hits moments at DawgNation. Well, one of the very first greatest hits moment at DawgNation was the South Bend invasion in Notre Dame. Now, you want to know what it's like in the vernacular of the late, great Larry Munson to come out, hang out with DawgNation, and be around a bunch of dog people. And it's not just like one of our cruises or DawgNation cruises, but we all congregate, we all get together, like-minded folks, and we have a good time. And I think the best example of this, so this is some precious video, one of our DawgNation cruisers, Santiago, was able to capture way back on the way to South Bend many moons ago. But I think this one, you're going to want to watch this, DawgNation. I think this one really bullseyes what it's like to be a part of DawgNation Invasion. Check it out right now on Before the Hedges.
A special guest today.
In the form of Larry Munson.
In the form of Larry Munson.
And he's about to make an announcement.
And he's about to make an announcement.
Can we have a little quiet on the bus?
Can we have a little quiet on the bus, please?
Woo! Here he comes.
Stand up.
Stand up.
All right, here we are. Trying to get into South Bend. And man, look at all this corn left and right. And I keep looking up here to me and I see this guy BJ and I say, oh my God, he's going to get us in there. I know he'll do it. And we're going to look down at Carolina today. They're going to come out in a deep, dark burgundy. Not quite a crimson, but almost a maroon. Trying really, really hard to be a garnet. Lauren, what do you got? Now I'm standing in a Georgia locker room with defensive coach Joe Collins. Joe, you've got a smile on your face, Joe. Joe, have you ever been to Sprayberry's Barbecue in Newman, Georgia? Well, Lauren, I hadn't quite yet. But these DawgNation folks, I tell you what. I went up to Chicago one time in '82. I think it was me and Dickie Bellamy from Bellamy Strickland. And man, we had a big time up there. So stay tuned, DawgNation, and we'll be right back after these 2 messages.
Isn't that great? I mean, come on. Like, if you see anything better on any streaming program tonight, have at it. Have at it, Hoss, because that is great. Now, that's a group, little backstory there. That's a great group of dudes. They're from Savannah. I won't make them YouTube famous tonight, but I see them almost every year at the Georgia-Florida game. That group of guys, really fun guys to hang around with, big-time Georgia football fans. And even at the cocktail party, they're the guys that they have, like, if you've ever walked through on the banks of the St. Johns River, if you've ever walked around that, they usually have a setup where they have a putting green, putting contest that's on some very snaky, some very cracked up, rocked out concrete next to the game where the world's largest outdoor is played. And if you make a putt, you get a beverage. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of people watching. But that Munson impersonation, and I had the ability one summer of my life when I was in college at UGA to intern with Larry Munson and also intern with Lauren Smith. And to have an individual that can pull a Munson that well and a Lauren that well, that is really five-star stuff. Doghouse Lawn Care, Jermaine King, Dro Suervo Chavez Jr. Like, guys, I don't ask for likes much on Facebook or subscribe calls, bugle calls, or anything right there. But that right there, that's worth a like, because I could watch that a million times and just smile over and over. So that is, you want to know why you want to be a part of DawgNation Invasion and experience moments with dog people like that. That is why you need to sign up and see if you can get those crazy 2 tickets to Austin, Texas, to join us out in the great state of Texas. Good stuff there. Number 3 here on our DawgNation program, Before the Hedges program, brought to you by Kroger. And, hey, Georgia just did that thing, and Georgia's going to do that thing again this weekend. They continue its June weekend haul for OVs with another loaded list of official visitors. I think we could probably accurately call this the David Sanders Jr. official visit weekend. That's the headliner. Of course, you got another 5-star there in DJ Pickett. And obviously, look at these names right here. Can't forget Christian Garrett out of Bogart, Georgia, Prince Avenue Christian. But I think this weekend will go a very long way towards Georgia figuring out the linebackers in the class. Zayden Walker is already a part of it, as we kind of recapped at the top of our show. But look at Tavion Wallace there out of Jessup, Georgia. Tavion has adjusted his commitment date a little bit. FSU looms large there. So do the Dogs. That's a recruitment I think Georgia has a chance to win. I wouldn't say they're the outright leader or favorite, but that's a recruitment Georgia has a chance to win. But then another linebacker that has some extremely good film in the 2025 class. You come down this a little bit. You got Ty Jackson, cornerback Chuck McDonald out of Mater Dei, another Mater Dei potential dog there. Eric Winters out of Enterprise, Alabama, another safety candidate there as well now with Lagonza Hayward Jr. Derek Meadows is a guy. Georgia's Stafford David Hill, the assistant running backs coach, has deep ties in Vegas. Derek Meadows is from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. He's expected in town this weekend. So a lot of schools are even looking at DJ Pickett there as a cornerback-type prospect. And then again, David Sanders Jr., kind of the headliner. And I found it very interesting that Mason Short, as we'll flip on to the next page, Mason Short is the only commitment in town this weekend. And that's really because he wanted to be there. Remember that when he spoke on the DawgNation video channels after his commitment down in Evans, Georgia? He said, "I'm coming for you, Sanders." He wanted to really put his weight belt on and see if he could help Stacy Searles and Georgia land David Sanders. So that's why Mason Short is going to be in Athens this weekend on his official visit to be a part of that. He's going to be the only commitment there. But again, the official visits we've been able to confirm. There has been a change or two over the last 4 or 5 days or so. But that's the first slide of your official visitors right there. And then the next slide of your official visitors, another headliner, to be very clear. This is also the C.J. Wiley official visit weekend. C.J. just spent this past weekend at USC on an official visit. Now he comes to Georgia. Another big name there, I think, is Dontrell Glover out of Langston Hughes. Really like his game. The nasty elements of his game. His bench press is 475 pounds. You want to talk about a guy along with Cortez Smith that Georgia would love to have at center or maybe at a guard. That would be Mr. Glover there. Todd Robinson. He could be a running back. He could play cornerback, safety. I think Georgia really likes Todd Robinson now for the defensive side of the ball. He's going to take his official visit to Athens this weekend. Charles House, another defensive lineman out of Charlotte, and Andrew Purcell, teammates with Eric Winters there as well out of Enterprise, Alabama. He's also going to be in the Classic City this weekend, and you see all that coming together. Purcell just recently earned a Georgia offer and a Clemson offer, so that stock is rising for the defensive back from the Yellowhammer State right there. So another loaded official visit weekend. And I know what you're saying is that this would be a success if Georgia could get one of those linebackers, and this is in the greedy lane. You can get either Ty Jackson or a Tavion Wallace to join Zayden Walker and Jaden Perlotti, or David. One of those guys would be great, but I think most would say if Georgia can land David Sanders Jr. and C.J. Wiley out of this official visit weekend, no matter what else happens, Christian Garrett, great player, Dontrell Glover, great player, but if you get those two names to commit to the G or to eventually commit to the G out of this weekend, then that would be a smashing success for the Dogs on this official visit weekend. Catching some questions off of YouTube. What's up, DGD Podcast? Let me see. Bill Kibbe, how many guys are the Dogs going to take in this class? I always say this. The transfer portal makes this decision now with the Dogs that decide to go to another program, and then the guys that Georgia feels that they need to get to reinforce their roster with some veteran talent. I think those are two very important factors. How many guys are going to go to the NFL? And then the high school class will probably float always around 24 to 26 names because of that. Again, Georgia is only 10 deep now in the process there. Drew Dotson, I see your question. Ousmane Kromah is going to take an official visit later this month. He is certainly expected. Neat little side road to that. Bo Jackson, everybody knows that name. He took an OV to Georgia recently. He made his commitment to Ohio State a couple days ago, which really puts the focus now at running back for Georgia to add to Bo Walker with Ousmane Kromah, maybe Jamarian Morrow, guys like that. But that really intensifies the need there for Georgia with Big Oos out of Lee County. So that is your official visit weekend preview right there from Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger. I promised you 2 DawgNation conversations. We had a chance to go out to Westlake High School this morning and talk to both Juan Gaston Jr. and Travis Smith Jr. Listen, we got to let the big man go first. Let me tell you something. It was weird. We were walking from the outside the stadium to the Westlake High School weight room, and I knew exactly what Ryan Montgomery felt when he told me, man, you just feel stronger, 10 feet tall, bulletproof. Maybe you're Tony Stark in that Iron Man suit. When you're walking behind Juan Gaston, you literally feel like that guy could take on an MX missile. He's so big. He's so massive. Juan, somebody wanted to call him the Eclipse. That would work as well. But you want to know how Juan Gaston Jr. is feeling about the Georgia official visit. You want to know how that went. You want to know what are his plans going forward. Sounds like he's altered his commitment decision timeline just a little bit. I want you to check that out right now here on Before the Hedges. want people to know about how that, like if you had to tell a teammate, hey man, what was the Georgia official like? How would you break that down?
Very exciting, fun. You do got to wake up on official visits at 8 a.m. to get breakfast and stuff. But it was a nice experience though.
By the meetings? Do you have any meetings?
Yeah, we had to go to the football meetings. Yep.
How were those?
It was good though. It was good.
Did it give you a picture of like, yeah, this is gonna be me in a year?
Yes, it did.
And wherever you end up, you're gonna be in those meetings all the time.
Yes.
What's the biggest thing Georgia put forth in your mind or planted in your mind about this weekend?
They're a winning program and they're losing 5 of their starters. And they still have a potential to be starter when I get there.
What goes through your mind when you hear that?
Oh, okay, I have a chance of starting at UGA. Might be a smart decision to go there and stuff like that. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the trip? I seen they dialed up the coolness factor on the photo shoots. Like everybody, those photo shoots are only available for officials. So now they got red carpet, they got everything. Like, what was that like for you?
It was a great experience, taking pictures in uniforms again. Yeah.
So very rarely you go on an official visit and you see somebody almost as big as you. Who's actually bigger, you or Nikolai? Are you taller and he wider, or like who's bigger between you two?
That's a great question. I really don't know.
You didn't have to look down to him, did you?
Nah.
Juan, you've been looking forward to these moments for a long time. I remember I talked to you in February at the Under Armour. You're like, that's my official. I'm going to take a couple more, and then we'll figure it out. Like,
Yes.
Does it feel like it's flying by now? Like, where do you think this is at now?
It's not necessarily flying by. It's getting there slowly, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm gonna wait after the OVs.
You still going to wait till after the OVs?
Yes.
You told me mid-season, and can it go mid-season or can it go right before the season?
I might change it up. It might be a little bit before mid-season.
Just want to get it out of the way, don't you? A little bit.
Yeah.
So did you have a favorite part? Like, what was the favorite part of the whole visit?
The photo shoot.
Was it?
Yeah.
Describe it. I mean, is it the best part the jersey, or is it the lights or the red carpet, or people like?
Just the different combos we get to wear, well, that they get to wear and stuff like that.
Why did you choose that particular combo?
It's the only one I haven't worn.
Really?
Yeah. I did all black. I did red. I didn't do white jersey, so I just went white jersey.
So is that the one you chose? Which one's your favorite out of all the ones you tried so far?
Probably the one I just did. Red helmet, white jersey, red pants.
Wow. They wore that combo like 4 years ago against Arkansas in a game. I'm sure you had a chance to talk to Coach Searles.
Yes.
What did he try to lay on you? What was his message?
Commit to the G.
That was what he said, huh?
That's all he said.
Give me one way that the official visit surprised you. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, or oh, that was exactly what I thought it would be.
Waking up in the morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get all your questions answered? Do you think that's the last time you see Georgia before you eventually make your decision, or?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it?
Because I'm not going to no more visits after all my OVs.
What does your current schedule look like? Has it changed up at all?
Oh, it has a little bit. So I went to Georgia, South Carolina, Oregon, then it's going to be Tennessee.
And that's all of them?
Yeah.
You got any more?
I might take one during the season. I don't know yet.
Who would that be to?
That I don't know.
Don't know?
No.
How'd your folks like it? I'm sure they did all the parent stuff, right?
Yeah,
Let me see
yeah.
the academic center. Let me talk about what was that like with your family?
They had a great time down there in Athens. They enjoyed themselves.
If you could think of a couple words to describe the official, which ones would you choose?
Fun, exciting, and educational.
Educational?
Yeah.
Who was your host?
Daniel Calhoun.
What was his message? What did he tell you? What was his spiel?
He just told me what they do there every day and stuff like that.
How do you feel he's fitting in so far?
He's doing well. He's fitting nice. Yeah.
I think he's dropped like 30 pounds since he got there.
Yeah. Lost a lot of weight.
Did he tell you, maybe give you the real about, hey man, it's tough here? Did he tell you what it was like?
Yeah, running at 6 o'clock in the morning, he said. So yeah.
Juan Gaston, man. Appreciate your time as always, man. This guy gets better and better every time we get an interview rep out of him, man. He's got some coaching up, and certainly appreciate your time as always, Juan. A lot of people want to hear from you.
Yep.
Big Juan Gaston, man. That guy, like I said at the close of that interview, he is a guy that I think I first started interviewing him like maybe 2.5 years ago. And to see the progress he makes, he's funny. He's having fun in his own skin. Like his coaches, they still will like when we're in the weight room and they see a reporter around, they're like, is it a photo shoot? Is it an interview? And one of his coaches today just walked through and he said, Juan, elaborate. That's what he wanted from the big man in his interview game. And Juan is certainly learning to elaborate, getting very comfortable. I know that's not one of his favorite things to do, interviews. But like I said, everybody wants to hear from him. A couple takeaways from that interview. I love it how linemen are very matter-of-fact, no wasted effort, no wasted motion. He said Searle's message was commit to the G. Kind of giggled about it, and I thought it was pretty funny how he also said that the things he'll remember, favorite thing was his photo shoot. See how that photo shoot worked there? I'm hearing that a lot with a lot of recruits, a lot of feedback from the Georgia weekend. But he also said that you got to wake up early for a lot of meetings, for breakfast, for meetings, even on your official visit. So I thought that was pretty interesting, that little takeaway he had from that. Waking up early, his host was Daniel Calhoun, and Daniel's a guy that's basically changed his body a lot in the last 3 months in Athens. He mentioned the off-season training workouts where you're running at 6 a.m., and that's something where the message he got about he could potentially start or vie for a starting position, thought he gave a very candid answer to that stuff there right there as well. So, hey, it wouldn't be a trip to Westlake without talking to two major Georgia targets. And that would be Juan Gaston Jr. and also Travis Smith Jr. So I'm going to kind of set up something in this interview. I want you to look for it. Maybe you saw it on social media, but I think, I don't know if I've totally vetted this, but there's I guess a growing sense of confidence that, did you guys see the video where like Kirby's walking out of the portal, I guess, a little bit, or the opening, the tunnel, let's call it. Let's not use a dirty word like portal in the middle of a recruiting show. But Kirby Smart, it was viral, of course. He was walking out with Travis Smith Jr. Travis had a huge weekend in Athens. He had like almost 10 members of his family there. I believe the number he told me was 9 members of his family came with him, grandparents, aunt, uncles, cousins, sisters, parents, that sort of thing. But he got Kirby to walk through. Let's not just say walk. You'll see it in a second. But Ric Flair strut through the tunnel there for their official visit photo shoot. Also, Kirby managed to get caught with a pair of red glasses on. And according to my reporting so far, this may not be a stone cold absolute here, but most guys are telling me that Kirby walked through that tunnel with just one prospect over the weekend, and that was Travis Smith Jr. So what was that like? What was Kirby's reaction? How did Travis Smith Jr. enjoy another impressive visit to Athens? You want to know all those questions, right? You want to know the answers to all those questions? Sure you do. That's why you're going to watch this piece right now on Before the Hedges. Last time I talked to you, you gave me one of your better quotes. You said the last visit, which was the unofficial visit, was the best time you've ever been in Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm like, can't wait to talk to him about the OV because there's no way this one's going to go above.
Yes.
Going to jump over that bar?
It definitely did. The amount of fun I had with my whole entire family, not just my parents, it was great. You know, having my grandparents there, my actual parents, my sisters there. It was nothing but a blast. So I really appreciate UGA for having me.
So you have like a church choir of people to get feedback from. What did everybody tell you about that? Now, does your family like, I don't know, Trav, this looks pretty nice, or did they say, well, what was the feedback from the family?
I could see it through their faces, you know. They're always supportive, you know, they always tell me, no matter where you go, we're going to support you. So they don't really directly tell me, but I could see through their face. They were like, this feels like home.
Talk to Ryan about it too. I think you're the only person that Kirby walked down the red carpet with.
I think so. I didn't see anyone else. I could be wrong, but I was like, hey man, Kirby, let's get us a little walk in you know, we tried to be groovy with it.
So you asked him to, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Where did the red glasses come from? Did you tell him to wear those?
I didn't. I just got some. He was looking for some, and then one of the guys ended up handing them to him. So, yeah, it was a good moment.
That was a good moment. What did he say to you? Is he like, oh man, I hope, did he tell you like
on
social media or
yeah,
something?
yeah. After the whole thing, like right after, if you see the video, he's about to talk to me. He was like, man, I can't be walking like that. I gotta keep it professional. I was like, all right, man, I got you.
Is that the moment of your official visit? Was that the best moment, or what was the best moment?
That was one of the best moments. The food alone was like top notch. Like they really threw it down over there. The food was amazing. Like I was full the entire trip, and I actually ended up making 200 finally, 200 pounds. I've been waiting for that for eternity, so I'm glad.
Not only did the UGA tell you a lot of good stuff, give a good picture, good commercial, but they also put on like 4 or 5 pounds on you.
Oh yeah, that's how coach was like, hey man, if you can get you up there in the 200s, low 200s with that speed, oh yeah, you're gonna be powerful.
What's Coley's speech? He's good, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Coley, he's interesting. I love me some Coach Coley, man. He's always been a cool dude. And my parents, out of any coach, you know, they're always speaking high on him because, you know, just the way he speaks with us, you know, it's everlasting. Always has good stuff to say. And it seems like on any topic we get on, he knows what he's talking about. It's absolutely crazy. He's very intelligent.
I think I'm following the timeline here. Is it safe to say that every time you've been to Georgia, it's been a better visit? Has it gotten better every time?
I can say yes, it has. Like all the way from just the unofficials to this official visit, it's just been climbing the staircase. So it's gonna be tough to beat. You know, I got Auburn this upcoming weekend, so man, we gonna see what everybody got. But that was a great time.
Bar set pretty high?
Very high, the highest actually for now.
Let's talk to Ryan, and of course, quarterbacks and receivers want to vibe. But he said there's something real about that guy. I would really like to play with him. Like, did you get a chance to get to know him a little bit in the same way?
Definitely, we both. The energy we transcend against each other. Like the energy we just have, it's like it's already there. You know, he's a cool kid, great kid. You know, very humble. You know, I can tell he was brought up from a great household. So, you know, while we're talking, it's always a great message. But ultimately, he wants me to come over so he can throw me some passes.
What did he say, man? I give you 2 fades game.
Hey,
what did he say?
Look, he gave me the look. Every time we would get on the topic, pretty much all the commits were on my behind this visit. They were just like, it was either we can't talk to you or we can't dap you up. It was all playful, but you know, you can tell they want me there. So.
Which commit was on you the hardest? Was it Ethan?
It was between Bo and Ethan. And who else? Yeah. Well, Ryan was too, but he was a little more like set back on it, but Bo definitely gave it to me. And Ethan, no, I'll say Ethan actually. Bo normally on me, but Ethan this weekend, he was just, ugh. Yeah.
So this week is what, Alabama? Or
this
Auburn?
week is Auburn. Right after is Alabama.
So you got a midweek one there?
Mm-hmm. Wait, no, actually, this weekend is Auburn, then the next weekend is Bama.
And then the last one is Tennessee, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
And then July 13th. Was there a reason for July the 13th?
Nah, it was just an open day.
Just an open day?
Yeah.
Travis Smith, man, always a great one, always a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Really appreciate your time, especially during this hectic mess.
It's crazy.
It is the stretch run of a young man's recruiting in June and July now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Another great kid, another great young man, Travis Smith Jr. Really interesting, a lot of stuff he said there. Trips just keep getting better and better. I thought it was really funny the story he had to tell there about Kirby and the red glasses. He's like, man, I can't be doing this walk like this. Now, we know one thing, and if David Sanders Jr., maybe C.J. Wiley said, hey, Coach, can we get some glasses? Can you walk through that tunnel with him? I think Kirby Smart would probably bend that rule about looking his most dapper self at the UGA photo shoot because those are some special players. They're also really good young men. Really not just have superstar potential, but the type of young men it's easy to build a relationship with and kind of want to see in your program. But interesting there, Travis Smith Jr. had interesting thoughts there about Ryan Montgomery, interesting thoughts about how the commits are not dapping him up and, waiting on him to make a decision before they really welcome him in, and his thoughts about James Coley as well, how his family felt just being around Georgia this weekend, giving him, he said they could kind of tell by that look right there. I thought that was very intriguing. The chance to talk to Travis Smith Jr. again and looking for a big senior year out of Travis, and especially got a lot of goals. He's got a very challenging schedule. Westlake with a new first-year head coach, Coach Mitchell, promising young leader of men there. But they got to play teams like Douglas County, Langston Hughes, and they're like, let's go. Let's figure out how we can hang with those teams and beat those teams. So that's a very, very strong program there. If you've been noticing, we've kind of did some subliminal programming inside our show, and we tried to throw you a lot of pictures, images from the official visit weekend because photo shoots are back. The pictures were great, but I thought it dovetailed nicely into our question of the week this week. And our question of the week this week is, we like this one a lot. We always strive for creativity and something different. And I got to thank Juan for kind of mushrooming the thought into my head. What do you think is Georgia's best non-traditional uniform concept now? And listen, everybody knows they got the regular home jersey and the regular away look. Those will probably stay forever. People that would know have told me that Kirby probably will never abandon the red helmet for a game. But you've got a lot of combinations that are popping up across the young men. You've got the red helmet, the white jersey, the red pants. You've got the black on black with the red helmet. You've got the black on red with the red helmet. You've got the white on white, all white with the white helmet, white jersey, white pants. You got a lot of that stuff right there. So you're starting to see a lot of those uniform combos. Check out right there, that picture there. That's Justice Terry with Michael Williams. Michael has always shouted out Georgia with Justice Terry. They have a very real, very genuine relationship. And should Justice make the flip to Georgia, I think Michael's influence and just Michael's path will have a good reason for that. You see, Ryan Montgomery, he likes to diversify his targets right there. He had on the white helmet with the black jersey and the black pants. There you have Darren and Kennebong as well. This is a really good look right there. You got Bo Walker white on white. You got Elias Williams red on red. You got Darren red on red. You see the offensive lineman here, Juan Gaston. You saw Nikolai Brooks, big number 73 right there. Look at him getting low right there for a 6'7" right there. But he had the white helmet, the red jersey, and the black pants. You're seeing a lot of variety. This is a visual buffet of all the different concepts. It kind of feels a little bit I want folks to feel like this is like the new NCAA football game and you're trying to choose your gear and everything else. But a lot of that. Drew Dotson says black on black with red helmet. Bill Kibbe says black jersey with white helmet with red pants. Randy Payne, a fashion connoisseur, I believe the GQ of Tifton, Georgia, he likes all white. Let me see. Bill Kibbe, good question, by the way, too. Getting Coley back was a great move by Kirby. Coley is a guy who moves the chains. Really, James Coley, what he's set up to do, Coach Coley, probably could be the greatest recruiting polls of his career in his first year back, recruiting and coaching the receivers for the Dogs. It helps that Georgia throws the ball a little bit more now with Carson Beck. It also helps that Georgia should lose 4 or 5 receivers off this year's team to the National Football League. So very kind of like a perfect storm there. A lot of in-state talent there for James Coley as well. But just wanted to answer that question. But let's stay on target. Let's stay on track. Stay on topic. I want to know, what do you guys think is the best new uniform concept there? And I want to call upon a very savvy member of the DawgNation team. I'm calling her Kaylee Juan Kenobi tonight. Kaylee, do you have a take on the best non-traditional Georgia uniform concept?
Yeah, hi, it's DawgNation's resident fashion expert.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, in true CKS fashion. I am always and have always been a big fan of the white on white. When I was an athlete in high school, I love the white on white look. It's so clean to begin with. And then at the end of the game, you know who's done the real dirty work.
There you go. Kaylee, the fashionista. And, you know, like, look at her. She's coming to work today. She's got her overalls on. Like,
Yeah. Shout out Mama. These are Mama's overalls that she gifted me. They've been alive longer than I have, and so we got to give a shout out to Mama and her overalls that she saved for me.
Mama's overalls. That would be a good Twitter handle right there. Shout out, Mama. Shout out. I'm sure we've just increased our chances of landing a Home Depot sponsorship there now with Kaylee's attire right there. And, I mean, those are good takes. I mean, I think what I'm hearing more and more from recruits is they really like the white on white, like Kaylee said, but they also love that red on red. And probably, this is close because there's a lot of them, but I think Ethan Barbour, who has basically become the linchpin anchor of the class right now, he chose the red helmet, white top, red pants. And side note, saw in all those pictures there, Georgia has, like I said earlier, they've got a lot of different concepts for the photo shoot. Looks like they built like a G6 set for players and family to pose together in. They've got them reading magazines. They've got them posing with the Natty Championship trophies. And it's very interesting, what Georgia does with its social media, but also the official visit staging. For example, Clemson put together their purple uniforms. They had them in a boxing ring, a makeshift boxing ring out of Creed, and then also with boxing gloves and a boxing belt. But interesting to see. I think Georgia, the recruiting machine rolls on. A lot of people know what they're doing behind the scenes, and I think that was a very good representation of everything going down in Athens this weekend. You guys got to take. You guys watching later, catch us on the podcast. Love to hear what you guys have to say as well about everything as well. So there you go. That was your Big Five. That was your question of the week. You know what it is now. Rolling right along, playing the hurry-up 4-minute offense right here, going NASCAR. Miss Mansell, I must say, she was very enthused to be able to add another name to this class in the form of Zayden Walker, the second Walker in the Georgia class. Let's look at the offensive side first. Elias Williams, Ethan Barbour, Mason Short, Thomas Blackshear, Bo Walker, Ryan Montgomery, 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, 1 3-star. That's good. Take a look at the defensive side of the ball now. You've got a little bit more talent, a little bit more top-heavy, another 5-star there at linebacker with Zayden Walker. Interesting news there for Stephon Shivers. Kind of happy for the young man because it'll give him a chance to develop, play some meaningful football games. He is transferring from Humboldt High School. It's a school that didn't win a game last year that actually featured him at tailback at times, 6'5", 355 pounds. Stephon Shivers is moving to Brentwood Academy, one of the power programs in Nashville, to play his senior year there. So he's going to get a lot better. He's going to face a lot better competition. He's going to be part of a program with a bigger winning culture, and he's going to have a chance to really have an even better senior year, I feel, for him and his family as well. So that's your class breakdown. Everybody's definitely excited about seeing Zayden Walker show up at linebacker. Georgia now has 1 5-star in that class. They now are up to 10 commits. They moved from number 12 to number 9 nationally, 6 on offense, 4 on defense. State with the most commits is the state of Georgia, 8 commitments in the SEC footprint. There's 7 in-state, 3 out-of-state. There are 6 offensive players among the 10 highest-rated commits, 2 offensive players among the 5 highest-rated commitments right there. And now look at that number. All those go up. 2 5-stars. You've got 2 top 50 commitments. You now have 3 top 100 commitments. Interesting development. Jaden Perlotti has now fell out with the latest re-rankings and the algorithms. He's fell out of the top 100, but the defensive end edge target out of New Jersey, Darren Inkenabong, has moved into the top 100. He is now Georgia's 3rd highest rated commitment. Differs between 24/7 Sports Composite and On3. On3 has Zayden Walker now as Georgia's highest rated commitment, and 24/7 Sports still has Elias Williams as Georgia's highest rated commitment there. there you go. That's your recruiting snapshot. Now what it means, time for top targets time. We're going to move it around a little bit. Some names are leaving. For those keeping score, Zayden Walker was the number 4 top target for Georgia in the entire class of 2025, and Georgia has checked off the number 4. We could say most wanted football prospect in the class of 2025. Eric Winters, a guy that's going to be taking his official visit this weekend. He moves into the list. So does Lagonza Hayward out of Toombs County. He moves now into the top targets list. Those are the first appearances of the cycle and Before the Hedges so far for Winters and Hayward. Isaiah Gibson, guys, that was another great official visit for Georgia and Gibson. You've already started to see some of the national guys come in with their predictions to Isaiah to flip from USC to Georgia. Cortez Smith, Usmani, Big Ooze, Croma out of Lee County, Dontrell Glover. Really like that young man to me. Dontrell Glover is an ideal Stacy Searles, Georgia offensive lineman. All the many elements of his game. That's the first half. The second half of your top targets, and you're going to see one of the official visitors this weekend. That's the name David Sanders Jr., number 1 again. He's been number 1 wall to wall so far for this class in the 2025 class. Number 2 remains, Elijah Griffin. Number 3, Justice Terry. We see some of these names now move up a little bit. You see Juan Gaston there. You see C.J. Wiley there. You see David Sanders Jr. You see Bryce Davis. Bryce just took his official visit to Clemson over the weekend. He got to sit in that boxing ring. David Sanders Jr. was also on his official visit to Clemson last weekend. You've heard from Juan Gaston in this program, Travis Smith Jr. in this program, and those are your top targets there for the class of 2025. Just off the list, some developments here. We kept Nick Brooks there just off the list. Michael Carroll just off the list. Christian Garrett, Marion Dye, Ty Jackson, Javon Boggs, really talented receiver out of the state of Florida, former Ohio State commitment there, just off the list right there. Now listen, guys, let's focus in here on Michael Carroll. That was another name that looks really good at offensive line for the class of 2025. I believe his mother was a Hall of Famer at Michigan State. His dad played at Penn State. His mother was a Hall of Fame basketball player, I believe, at Michigan State. Michael Carroll got some of the best film coming out of Pennsylvania, an interior offensive lineman. He's down to a Final Four that includes Georgia. Penn State is a team to watch there as well because that's his father's alma mater. I thought that was another intriguing official visitor for Georgia over the weekend. And now the second part of just off the list, we got some more names to add to the group right there. Trey McNutt, 5-star safety out of Cleveland, Ohio. Jalen Morgan, Jamarian Morrow, Chuck McDonald, he's an official visitor this weekend. Andrew Purcell, he's an official visitor this weekend. Todd Robinson, he's an official visitor this weekend. Taylon Taylor was just an official visitor this past weekend. We spoke about him, shared our thoughts on him early in the program. Tavion Wallace, really impressive down south Georgia boy linebacker, not too far away from Wayne County's not too far away from some of our down south Georgia DawgNation cruisers. And then Kevin Wynn, another remarkable official visit there for Georgia with Kevin Wynn out of Greene County Junior at Greene County High School as well. Kevin's a guy that you saw him having a lot of fun on his official visit as well. And Georgia, as we stated at the top of this program and throughout this program, going to be a weekend that people will look back on and say, yep, the Dogs are going to get more than just Zayden Walker committed out of the guys that were in town this weekend on their official visits. Guys, that's been Hedges. Hope you've enjoyed our program. I hope you guys have enjoyed, maybe learned something or two about Georgia football recruiting. Let me see if anybody. Sonia Prescott, she says she loves the red hats, white jersey, and red pants. You're right, Prescott. Prescott's got some intel right there. That was the scheme with Herschel's debut down up in Knoxville. Will Evans, Chris Slim White, that's funny. He's a little – I like that comment. He's a little sad. Bo don't know football. Let me check out YouTube. Shane Daniel. Do I think Thomas Blackshear will be a Ladd McConkey? I think Thomas will kind of carve out his own niche. I think he's going to be more like a Dylan Bell type. Really good after the catch. JC, you're right. Yeah, Mr. Wallace is no joke as well. Bill Kibbe, yeah, you're right. Well, currently they've got commitment from poor USC, man. This might be a banana peel moment for them recruiting 2025 in the state of Georgia. Justice Terry currently committed. Isaiah Gibson currently committed. Juju Lewis currently committed. Julian Lewis, actually, remember how he had planned to take his official visit to Georgia this past weekend prior to the way everything shook out with Georgia being certainly over the moon happy with Ryan Montgomery. But Juju was actually in Indiana this past weekend for his official visit. Very, very interesting to see that. Yeah, you're right. I know most of you are probably wondering about how in the world is Indiana getting an official visit from Julian Juju Lewis. But there's a relationship there back with the quarterback coach there, Tino Sunseri, that has been around the Lewis family, helping advise them for quite some time. So that's basically a nod to a long-standing relationship. And he's been to Indiana a couple of times. It would be interesting to see if Juju wound up somewhere like Colorado or Indiana rather than maybe what most feel he might choose with Auburn. And I know you guys maybe didn't pay attention to Roll Tide Roll recruiting, but Alabama flipped a really good quarterback. I saw him compete earlier this year at a 7-on-7 tournament in Stone Mountain. They flipped an SMU commitment into their class, and that'll probably dial down some of the juice or interest there about maybe Alabama adding Juju Lewis to their class as well. So interesting stuff there. Doug Magnus makes a good point, though. Guys, how many times have great programs changed uniforms? Alabama never, or Georgia never. Georgia's done it very rarely. The black jersey games, the Tennessee game, and then the 20th anniversary, the 40th anniversary of the 80 game in Knoxville. Georgia resurrected the red helmet, white top, and red pants as well. So when Georgia does it, it's usually very rare as well. Guys, that has been a Before the Hedges. It's so glad to be back. I mean, I was thinking with my family. I came back from a vacation. We got to visit Seattle. We got to visit Alaska. We got that good family bonding time. Was able to unplug from recruiting as much as a guy like me possibly can. But I tell you, it is a sweet, sweet life and a tremendous blessing and honor to be able to come back, jump right back in the saddle again, to talk to talk to people like Ryan Montgomery, Lagonza Hayward, Juan Gaston Jr., Travis Smith Jr. It really makes it a fun thing to do. Then come back, and then Georgia lands a commitment from Zayden Walker as well. Honestly, we kind of felt that a guy like Zayden had kind of been in the cards to commit to Georgia maybe sooner rather than later in the cycle. He was never a guy that I seemed one of those down south Georgia boys. They don't like all that drama, glitter, pomp, and circumstance. They just want to work out. They want to play football. They want to get better, and they want to hit somebody. And I think Zayden Walker certainly checks all those boxes right there. Guys, that has been your intel. It is Jeff Sentell here, back again live on a Wednesday night. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks again to Kroger for being such a great sponsor. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Check out Brandon in the morning. Check out DawgNation at Large with Kaylee Mansell and Connor Riley, who will probably be in another wardrobe change besides her overalls tomorrow for DawgNation at Large. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed that Munson clip in the middle. Hope you guys liked hearing from Travis Smith and Juan Gaston Jr. right on the heels of their OVs to UGA. The Dogs got another big one coming up this weekend, and Before the Hedges and DawgNation will be all over it. I'm Jeff Sentell. That is your intel, and we will see you guys again later on the pages of DawgNation.com.